Hello and welcome to episode 9 of my Minecraft Survival Let's Play series. This week I will be building a house. So, I think I'm just going to start and then we'll see how it goes. I've made a way up the mountain because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a floating island base, which I'm doing because I think it's something that I've sort of always wanted to do, but I've never really stuck with when I was playing Minecraft. So that's the goal now. I'll be building bridges, and obviously it'll be much easier to deal with once I get elytra, but that's the plan for now, to just go across here and then just build a house on top of a floating island here, and that'll be the beginning of whatever I'm going to be building here. Which is a little bit silly considering I've flattened all of that out and then I'm not going to use it, but that was before I made up my mind as to what I'm doing. So yeah, let's go grab some stuff and let's do that. And also that's why I've got the happy ghasts, so that I can fly around while building the space easier. So I think I will start by getting the happy ghast and putting it and growing it, and then while starting to build the island. I'm going to grab all of this stuff, and as you can see I'm going to be doing a rather regular colour palette for a Minecraft build with a it's going to be a mangrove and netherrack roof is the plan, so that it's because that's just what I have most of, to have a different colour roof than just the regular woods or stone. I'm going to put in some cobble to smelt because I think I want to have a stone brick foundation. I'd like to explain a little of what I'm doing. Basically, I came up here, went up to where I want to go, then made a circle, a rather small circle, and then started building up the foundations. So I'm just thinking, like, put an entrance here, and then go further out there. And I'm realizing that this platform is definitely way too small, so I'm gonna go up it that way. And once I've done that, then I'll see how I'm doing, but that's just how I've decided to go to do this circle, then foundations, then expand a bit. Oh, he's happy now. It's gonna be hatching soon. Hello. You're gonna stay in this area. That is a lot more even than I realised it was. I think it might be exactly even. How did I manage that? Oh well, I'll fix it later. here's the house. Let's talk about what I've done and review a bit. Firstly, the lights on top are a bit weird looking, but I had to add them because there's a full block, so things could spawn up there. I would probably need a better solution, but that's what I've done so far. I've added windows off screen, but yeah, it's all... The outside is mostly done apart from things on the island, so like greenery, a path. I also haven't done the bridge there, but that will be for next episode probably. Then, yep, I've got a happy ghost here, which that helped me build the bottom. And I think let's talk about my thought process. So I made the roof red just because I wanted a different colour than the regular woods, and I just had the most of that, even though it is actually ended up being a wood mostly because it's mostly the mangrove. So yeah, then through here we have this door and go up. I've made it like this because I wanted to have the house be only 2 blocks up, the floor be only 2 blocks up from the floor, while at the same time having plenty of basement space. So I made this one further up here, and yeah, could have just gone further down and didn't really matter if I went up, but yeah. This is going to be my storage area, and then because I'll probably end up living here for a while, as I normally do in these sorts of pods, here's a second overflow storage area and a third overflow storage area. Originally I tried to make the staircase just directly here. Maybe you saw in my time lapse that I had a staircase here going up and a staircase here going down, because I wanted to just go straight in and then go straight down, but I changed my mind because it made this floor plan here awkward. And then got this, which is not great, but I probably won't be using it much. Maybe I'll put my bed up here, and then yet another probably useless space. Maybe I'll end up being really overflow storage at some point, but probably not. So yep, that's that. That time. Okay. So yeah, I'll need to move all of that stuff up here, and then okay. The other thing I should do is I should get some blue lichen and put it on the bottom of this so it blends in but also lights it up during the night, because I think that's, and also in the day it's quite dark, it's just annoying. And then let's talk about the shape of it and how I would, after both the house and the island, and how I'd do it again. So for one thing, I think the house would have been better if it was symmetrical. It would have made an easier floor plan, it would have looked a bit nicer, but I wanted it to not be symmetrical and I regret that. I just generally don't like symmetrical builds very much. But yeah, this one I think would have looked better symmetrical. Meanwhile with the island, I think the problem that I made is I wanted to use gravel, and to use gravel, I wanted to use gravel at the top, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just started with cobble. And there's only some gravel there because I didn't have enough andesite, and I wanted to mix the gravel and the andesite. And so that meant that I was doing quite far down, so I could put the gravel on top of the andesite, since gravel is a gravity block. But then, so now that these faces are quite tall, which then I had to suddenly go down, because otherwise this would have been just going all the way down to the floor if I made it every single in this high. I should have just had it like one block, or maybe even one block going 2 in at the beginning, and then followed up with then going longer and longer as it went down, rather than sort of the other way around. But I'm not going to change that now, but now I know for future reference. But yeah, I think that's this and my review of what I've done, how I'd change for next time, because my plan is to just do some sort of floating island town probably, and yeah, so I now have more practice for that, and obviously it will be much easier for me to do this floating island town once I have an elytra and I can just fly up here rather than having to go all the way around every time. But maybe it'll motivate me to go and fight the dragon sooner, because I'm always worried about that. I'm always putting it off, but it's not going to be an next episode, because next episode's probably going to be a bit of interior, and then I also want to deal with the villagers, and then maybe I can move on to fighting the dragon, but hard to say. And then yeah, I've also had to put a bunch of torches down there because I did make that just a massive spawn area. But yeah, I think overall I like this build. Like I said, I would have made it symmetrical and I would have fixed the island shape. And I still need to add details and also an interior. But it is also fun that we have a way to fly with the Happy Ghasts before the Elytra. And obviously this is much easier for building than Elytra would be. So this has been very helpful for me wanting to build this fairly early game. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for thank you for watching this episode, and if you decide to tune in, see you next week. Bye.